Teaching Kids About Money, Chapter 2, The Perfect Age. Congratulations on being a parent who is prepared to accept the responsibility to teach your children the value of money. It doesn't matter what age your children currently are, now is a perfect time to help them. Ideally, as soon as you have made the decision to have a child, you can set up the foundations for their financial security. The strategies in this particular video are for the parents to implement and manage. The rest of the video training series is about how you help your kids implement strategies for themselves. So the first step to establishing a good foundation is to open up two accounts for your child. You have an education account and a wealth account. Both of these accounts involve the funds being invested into long-term assets which provide high returns. It's all about having your money working harder for you and taking advantage of compound interest. You don't need tons of money to create great results as long as you start early. And this is exactly what Nicole and her husband Riney did when they found out they were expecting their first child. They decided that they would open up a bank account for his education and an investment account that he can take over once he's old enough. As they were given more pre-loved clothes and toys for their son than he could use, rather than gifts for his day of birth, they asked their family to contribute money into one of these accounts to help invest in his future. So while your child is very young, you will contribute to and manage these accounts. And once you are confident that your child has demonstrated that they can manage these accounts and they are legally able to own the accounts, you can then transfer the ownership to them. You should decide when this occurs based on the results that you see your child achieving in earning and managing their own money. In Nicole and Riney's situation, they anticipated commencing monthly contributions into both of their sons' accounts as soon as he was born, with the expectation that once their son is earning his own money and he understands what's happening, they will encourage him to also make regular contributions and eventually take over both accounts. Paying for your kids' education may well become the largest expense you commit to when raising your children, particularly given that the majority of young people choose to complete a tertiary education. Now, the term education includes both traditional education and also learning from other experts in business, finance, and life skills. So to avoid your child having to pay a large debt at the end of their education, then set this account up and regularly deposit money into it. Depositing as little as $5 every week can make a substantial difference to the amount of debt for education that may otherwise be incurred. Now, if this seems to be too much of a stretch for your family budget right now, then consider depositing some of the money given by family members and friends for your children's birthday or Christmas presents. Providing your child with the gift of having a debt-free education can far outweigh the short-lived pleasure gained from receiving a new toy or gadget that they can quickly either grow out of, break, or tire of. So once your child starts earning their own income, teach them that a percentage of it should be deposited into this education account every time that they are paid. Your child will then be miles ahead of their financial IQ and enjoy the freedom of having little or no debt at the end of their formal education. This process also teaches them the habit of investing in themselves through lifelong learning and empowers them with the knowledge they require to reach their full potential. Parents can also achieve great results by setting up a wealth account for their children and depositing money on a regular basis using the same strategy as outlined for the education account. Using a wealth account utilizes the pay yourself first concept that the wealthy have followed for years. And this means that no matter what happens, you're consistently making a monthly payment to the wealth account for investing the first priority. The only difference between this account and the education account is that the funds accumulated can only be used for purchasing investments. All returns generated must be reinvested, allowing the funds to compound. The aim is for your child to accumulate enough assets to generate the amount that they require to fund their lifestyle from the income generated through owning the investments. We refer to the day they achieve this as Financial Freedom Day, whereby your lifestyle is funded by the income generated by the assets within this account and you no longer have to work. You are then able to choose if and when you work for money. We call this wealth account the money magnet account, as this is the account that will help your child reach their financial freedom day in the long term, because the money in it attracts more money like a magnet. As your child grows older and is able to comprehend more complex concepts, then start conversations with them around the benefits of having money working for you rather than you working for it, what compound interest is, and investment options to take advantage of higher returns. Review this account with them at least each quarter so that they can see it growing for themselves. Now, if these concepts seem a little overwhelming at first, remember that the more you learn, the more you learn. And the best way to learn is to teach, so that you'll be amazed at how much you learn as you start to teach your kids the value of money. Of course, as your child's needs and most likely wants begin to increase, you then help them set up a separate saving account to purchase larger items. And this will teach them the importance of managing their money and to set goals for things that they want. And these concepts are explained in detail and learned through using the Magnet Money System, which is a training that can be found in the Money Smarts Academy. And the Magnet Money System is designed for children aged 10 years and older. If you have more than one child, we recommend setting up separate accounts for each, so that when the time is right, you can sign over the accounts to each of them to manage for the rest of their lives. After all, they are always going to need money and will always be learning. So what investment options are available when setting up an education and wealth account? Well, there are many different investment options available on the market to invest in, which may seem daunting for most parents. Another important factor that you have to consider is the tax implications of that investment, as children and parents are taxed quite differently here in Australia. Not only does it affect the net returns of the investment, by holding the investment under the wrong person's name, such as investing in the name of either parent, the income from the investment can adversely affect family tax payments, push them into a higher tax bracket, or hinder eligibility for superannuation co-contribution, just to name a few complications. So therefore it's important to seek advice from a qualified financial planner before making any of these decisions. One investment vehicle often overlooked, which you may wish to discuss with your financial planner, is an investment bond. And it's referred to as tax-paid investments. And these bonds in Australia are taxed at the corporate tax rate of 30%, subject to being held for a minimum of 10 years, and they don't need to be reported on an investor's tax return. Therefore, if both parents are working and have a high tax rate of 30% or higher, an investment bond would be quite an attractive option. So what if you simply can't afford it? Well, as at the 1st of July 2004, the government here in Australia introduced the baby bonus to families following the birth, which also includes stillborn babies, or adoption of a baby in recognition for the extra costs incurred. And this bonus is administered by the Australian Tax Office and replaces the maternity allowance. For the 2010-11 financial year, the total baby bonus amounts to $5,185, which is indexed annually, and it's paid over 13 equal fortnightly instalments for each child. Certain criteria, such as the family income limit, apply to receive this bonus, so visit familyassist.gov.au or ring the Australian Government Family Assistant Office for further information to ascertain whether you are eligible. If you do apply for this bonus, then why not use a portion or the whole amount of this money to set up both accounts? Every dollar that you invest on behalf of your children whilst they are young will make affording high-end expenses such as education more affordable. But what about your own financial situation? Finding out you're about to have an addition to your family brings joy and excitement. It may also lead you to start thinking about your own financial situation. So ask yourself questions such as, will your budget stretch to cover all expenses if you take time off work? How much time off work are you entitled to? Do you want to take? And can you afford to take? What government benefits will you be entitled to? And how will this affect your family wealth creation plans? Now that you're responsible for someone other than yourself, what would happen if you couldn't work due to an accident, illness, or even premature death? These are all valid questions and important to answer. You see, most people spend more time planning a weekend away than they do looking after the most important aspects of their finances. And a professional financial planner will be able to work with you. And in less than a few hours, they'll be able to give you a plan and direction. Think about this. If you were planning a trip to Paris, don't you think if you had an expert guide who lived in Paris for many years that they would be able to help you get the most out of your trip? Well, a professional financial planner will save you time, help you understand the complexities of the current legislation, and assist you to put in place the most important things for you and your family. An initial appointment is usually complimentary and will last for less than 2 hours. Wouldn't this be a great investment of your time?